Palantir, also Kevin Manus Pennings. I will be your host and game master tonight for episode 17 of Brise's Tale. We've missed a couple of weeks, and that was entirely my doing. It's entirely my fault. I'll take responsibility for everything. But we are fortunate again to have with us Brise's player, the ever entertaining, the ever charming Max. Say hi, Max.
Hello, everybody. Hope you didn't miss us too much, but I do hope you miss us because
That's true.
that makes it feels nice when people care about you. So, hope you're ready for some crazy role playing adventures.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, we were continuing to explore the cave and mine complex that is adjacent to this old battlefield in the Goblin Nation of Narguz. Um, we left off with Brise having escaped from the giant spider and having slain that creature. And then he pressed on to the other side of the cavern complex um, with the various black substance, sort of almost a soft, sort of tar-like substance that forms these trees in this cavern complex. One giant tree that we found in the spider seemed to make part of its lair, and then sort of regions spotty here and there of sapling-sized trees, maybe 5 to 8 feet high, both here and on the ceiling. And Max has crossed over regions like that, made it to the far side of the complex, where he encountered sort of a foggy cloud. And as he approached, it coalesced, and two glowing eyes formed in the cloud, and is gazing at him. Did I miss any highlights there, Max, or did I pretty well catch it?
Yes. One thing you might want to just post the notes for people as well, so they can catch up if they need to. And also, we had a little almost an encounter with the two ogres that you may have rumored to be learning about here from a couple sessions back. I kind of snuck up on my camp, but thank goodness I had a disguise camp cast over my campsite, and they, fools that they are, couldn't locate me and left. So yeah, that was pretty tense. I was ready to like summon lightning, like right at their feet. Tottered off. So
yeah, they were. One of them had already taken a tumble down a hill the night before and was not ready to take any risks going into an unknown area for unknown gain. So he talked his companion out of it and just left. We also have to remind our viewers and ourselves, because we've been bad about it, that you have your new familiar, a local songbird.
Oh yeah,
Lowla. So but now you find yourself in the cave and confronting some sort of gaseous entity with two glowing eyes.
You want to post the notes before we?
You mean the I got you. I know what you
mean.
Yeah. You mean the links?
The links, yeah, everything.
Yes. Give me a moment. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, you can find these down in the description, but I'll also post them in chat if anyone needs to see them. Where are they? Let me find them. Good Lord, there we go. There it is. So, you can always look at Max's notes, character sheet, and also you'll see a link to the artist who did our caricature, which will be popping up any second now.
Boom! Right on cue.
Oh, interesting. They have changed the length that we can post. Wonder when that happened. This is now a real pain in the ass. 120 characters is the new.
Oh man. Also, Karen says hi. Hello, Karen.
Oh, I need to go to the chat. Oh, you know what? Sorry, gang. I was posting in the wrong place. So the captions now alert you to a new max. Haha.
Ah. Bada bing, bada boom.
This is not working. What is going on here? For some reason, it's not letting me copy from the private chat.
Well, maybe we can figure it out later.
Yeah, it should be. There we go. Boom. Hello, Obi-Wan. Thanks for joining us.
There it is. Screecher.
Our glowy-eyed creature, our doughy-eyed creature. Wait, no, that's something else.
Oh, then I have nothing to fear.
That's right. And ox-eyed Hera. I don't know how much were you a big mythology fan?
Which mythology?
Any mythology.
I was really big into Norse and Japanese. Those are like my two.
Oh, cool.
Big. I wasn't too much into Greek mythology.
Ox-eyed Hera was that's considered a compliment because the Greeks believed, and accurately so, that cows have beautiful eyes.
Oh, yeah.
And so, ox-eyed Hera was a compliment.
An ox-brained Hera, however.
Not so much. Ox-bodied, also a failure in the compliment category.
Those eyes, though.
Those eyes.
For a pair of ox eyes.
No. That's all I got to say about that. They're moving.
Moving eyes.
That's right. What would you like to do?
I would like to whip out my shield and my spear and, just stand where I am and not put any more, cover any more distance. So it says I'm 100 feet away is where I left off.
Yes.
So I'll just stop and see what it does. Prepare to act. I have my floating lantern out.
Yes. Drifting ahead of you. It's halfway between you and the creature. You probably move it somewhat to the side so it's not in any sort of line of fire. Roll for me. This is just to see if you get a sense of how big the space is in front of you. 37?
Yeah.
So difficult to tell, but there's definitely more of the cavern beyond him. There's not a sense of echo like there's a wall beyond in the darkness. So there's more to explore as you beyond this creature, should that motivate you. It does seem to widen here. It might be possible to circumvent this thing entirely just by hugging the wall to your left.
Was there water as well? Did I imagine that?
No, you've not really. I mean, it's damp here and there,
Yeah.
but there's not a lot of water in this cavern. What would you like to do?
So the eyes don't make any movement, kind of just wait there.
It's just as long as you stay still, you sway, it turns to follow you, very much like a living organism.
Okay. I'll start making my way around it towards the to go around it basically, but getting closer, kind of edging around it, but also getting closer to see if it'll react.
The eyes narrow as you approach, as you get any closer. And roll initiative for me.
Okay. 66.
Not bad. It rears its head back, but you are on the ball. You have an action before it's going to act, but it's clearly a very violent action, a very sudden action. That it rears its head back. What would you like to do? Hey, Quinn. Glad you got your computer set up. I saw that message from you.
You're just in time, Quinn. I'm about to get attacked. Couldn't be any later. Do I want to aggravate it? Let's just try to evade whatever it's going to do. So I won't take any action other than just to move away, move further back.
Just spend your whole action of just really being nimble on your feet. And
exactly, yeah. Because I'm afraid if I attack it, I don't know if it'll get more aggressive.
Sure. There is a blue flash that comes from its eyes as it sort of snaps its gaseous head forward. You raise your shield. There is an icy blast that strikes your shield and drives it back against you. It had both force and a sense of iciness, but it wasn't very visible. It was icy in temperature, but not actually composed of ice, if that makes sense. So you only lose 1 hit point. You can tell you took the brunt of it on your shield. But by the same token, there was a weird sensation that it was everywhere that this came from. But you feel like the magic of your shield helped greatly. You have gone backwards. It's roll for me. Let's get your sense of what's going on here.
50.
Since you sort of jumped backwards, it is calmer. It has sort of gone back to a more watchful stance. Roll for me. Let's see if you've seen anything else.
73.
73. It seems that its body issues forth from a fissure in the floor. Yeah, Quinn, we figured out that Max had a setting change on him regarding the resolution. And so he's back up to his 720 handsomeness.
Yeah. Actually, I probably should. Let me just double check. Yeah, it is 720.
Yeah, I actually had that happen too on a couple of streams with me. Mine changed for no reason. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah. I think at some point maybe I cleared my cookies or something.
Right.
We're good now. Does this creature remind me of anything? To get
because rolling that as soon as you meet something.
Yeah, exactly. Because right now, like, if it's an undead thing, well, then I'll go to attack it, dispatch of it. But if it's some creature, it might be, just defending itself. Doesn't seem in my nature of my character to take it down.
There are the closest thing that you can think of are something that you've read in your book on fairies, but only in as much as there are fairies that take the form of very small clouds. They're more mist-like, according to the book, and they're much smaller, the size of maybe two of your hands together in two fists. That's the closest thing that you know of to this, and that doesn't seem very close.
Yeah. I'm wondering, here's something we could try.
Cool, Quinn.
Through my spells here. Oh, where'd it go? I could try casting Animal Tongues from my Nature's Law tome, just at a safe distance. And I need to be. So range, it says 50 foot plus 10 foot per level. Okay, so I could do it from 100 feet away. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could just cast it and see if it works, and then maybe I'll try to speak with it. So it doesn't seem to be reacting anymore, just kind of watching me.
It's watching you. You know, you don't doubt if you approach, it's probably going to act that same way. There's no reason not to assume that.
Yeah.
So you want to give it a try and cast this nature's speak to animal on it?
Yeah, so I've got to pull up my tome, so I'll have my shield in hand, put my spear down, pull out my tome from the bookcase of holding.
Right. All right, so you turn to the right page, got your shield up, just watching. Roll up.
Speak with animals. 53.
It casts fine. You do a good job of casting it from the tome. And what would you like to say?
I mean you no harm.
A genderless voice issues from the cloud and says, "None may cross me. All are my enemy. Approach and come to your death." You rise, put away your junk, grab your spear, flip it off. What would you like to do?
With my spear.
Okay.
I ask, even someone who could be a possible friend, why are you, what makes you think that way?
It dissipates and disappears.
All right, victory achieved.
Yet another successful negotiation. That's right.
I had a question. I didn't try speaking to it without the spell. Do I know then if it's the spell that was able to work, or
you don't?
I don't. That's so interesting. I just assumed I wouldn't be able to understand it, but now missed that opportunity. Okay.
Well, you could cancel the spell at any time and continue to speak to it. Any spell that you cast through an item or through your own knowledge, you can cancel as a free action, basically.
Okay. I'll keep it up for now, just in case. But seems to be gone. I want to go walk over to the fissure. I wonder if it's like trying to trap me or something. Well, I'll get closer to where it was, another 50 feet, and kind of move my lantern over where it was. See that area.
You cross As you approach the fissure, you can see that a gas, very much like that creature's body, is very slowly sort of smoking from the crevice. Beyond, there are the remains of two individuals from quite a ways ago. They are armed and armored. What would you like to do?
Just moving the lantern towards the two corpses. Do they seem like they might have anything of worth on them? Is it good quality armor, or hard to tell from this distance?
Some form of leather armor in fairly good shape. There's at least a dagger and a hand axe on the floor between them. But other things like clearly like the remnant of a cloak is now long rotted.
Yeah.
Bags and belts have long rotted. What would you like to do?
Well, I think I'll press on then deeper into the cavern. Just keep my wits about me.
An icy blast strikes you from all directions.
Oh man.
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere. A cruel laugh comes from behind. You take 8 damage. You're stunned this round, which means no spells, no attack, but you can parry if there's something to parry. The creature is now 20 feet behind you. You whirl to face it. It does not, you notice, seem affected at all by the changing patterns on your shield.
Right, the sluggishness. Yeah, shield.
Yes.
Yeah.
That will, for our listeners, shield of sluggishness is meant to distract your opponents and affects their initiative and affects their ability to perform mental tasks. You will die like the others, it says.
Man.
So roll for initiative.
Let's do it. 6. Okay.
That is you. What would you like to do, sir?
So stunned. I can't cast any spells. All I really can do then is, use any items, drink any potions, or parry. So.
And you can continue to retreat backwards. I mean.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I might have to just face this thing. Although I guess retreating backwards does give me more, space to dodge its blasts. So let me just see my items really quick. Do I have any potions I would want to drink? Sleep potion. All right. Okay, I will do using my I've got shield and spear. Yeah. So I'll do full parry and back up. How does that work with the saving spear then?
You need a physical weapon, a melee weapon coming at you to effectively parry.
Okay, so instead I'm just blocking then with the shield is really.
Right. Now, you could, therefore, just put your spear up and decide on something else in that hand. You know.
Right. Like pass my bolas. Yeah. Yeah. Let's just put the spear away and grab my bolas. My bowl of summons. Bola of summons. And be prepared to throw that next round.
Okay.
I'm a little concerned as the being of mist if it'll even be affected.
Yeah, it's an odd situation. Another blast strikes you. 6 hits. You can see frost actually form on your shoulder and quickly begin to melt. Next round, roll your initiative.
Okay. 75. Here we go.
All right, what would you like to do?
I'm going to throw my bola. Try to, at least to see what happens.
Sure. It again lifts its head, raises its head, and then thrashes it downward. There is a blue flash. The effect is very minor. You see frost form on the shield. You can feel some on your face. You take 4 damage. And then you throw. Throw away, sir.
Throw away. What?
You heard me.
Throw away, throw. 77. It's pretty good throw.
77. That is pretty good.
I wouldn't say that missed.
Oh, so bad. Roll your critical.
For the pun or for the hit?
Yeah, the pun
30,
mostly.
34.
34. It's weird. It's not exactly as though it strikes so much as it slows as it passes through it. The creature cries out in pain. You see that the trajectory of it was affected, and of course you instantly summon it back. Next round, initiative. Thanks, Obi-Wan, for the drum rolls. We should have been more patient and waited for them, huh?
Yeah. 38.
Yep, it's going first. Yet another icy blast. This one a little unpleasant. Takes your feet out from under you. It felt like it came from behind. Do you have greaves on? Leg greaves?
I do. Let me check if they have a property. I think they do.
I have it on your old sheet. Where's your old sheet?
I can't spell Greaves. Grieve.
EA.
Oh, that's why.
You've got arm
greaves with the empty hand. Okay. Plus
but not leg greaves.
No, not leg greaves. Okay.
Yeah. You can feel your flesh hardening on your legs.
Ooh.
You're stunned for 2 rounds, and you're taking 5 damage a round. And the magic begins to crystallize your legs.
Holy moly. How much damage did I take just from that attack?
6 damage.
Okay.
It's like it's attacking the environment more than it's attacking you, but it's working.
Yeah. Okay.
Next, so you can't attack because you're stunned now.
Right.
Change your action. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna just start backing away, try to lose more distance. Actually, I'm curious. Does it seem to be coming from another fissure again? I'm wondering if it's like
No,
respawn.
no, it is still emanating from that fissure, but it has moved away from that fissure. But there's a tail of this smoke now
Interesting.
that connects it.
Okay. Well, I'll keep backing away and hope that maybe it'll won't be able to follow all the way.
All right, roll to maneuver carefully.
Yeah.
Backwards.
6.
And down you go.
Oh.
Next round, roll it up.
85. 5 damage from that.
Yes.
Nonsense. Man, this cave is just full of nonsense, isn't it? Spiders and trees and fog things trying to kill me. Cave of Death.
It is a very interesting environment. It's going to gloat. That's what it's doing this round.
Huh.
Do you feel it, mortal? Do you feel the change occurring that will allow me to feast in such a short time? And he just watches you. It just watches you as you right yourself as best you can on your increasingly painful legs.
You son of a bitch.
What would you like to do?
So this is my second round of stun.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna have to keep retreating. I will eat some herbs here. I'm doing too much damage. Where'd it go? Herbs. Oh, there they are. I will take an Acbutage.
Yep.
Just 1. That's 1 to 10 HP.
5 hit points. Hey, Lizard and Tex. Glad you could join us.
Hello.
You find that as you move, your feet are getting it's like they're sticking. And as you look down, every time you step down, ice runs down your feet and tries to adhere you to the floor.
Ooh. Nasty.
Next round, roll initiative.
83.
You have initiative.
Okay. I am. I shouldn't be stunned anymore. 2 rounds, right?
Right.
So I'm going to cast Spell Shield.
Okay.
Is that? I need to remember which one that is. That's Face Obstacles, right? So I do have that memorized. Or sorry, no, Shield of Faith. That's the one. Yeah, for wall shield protecting me. So.
Okay. Roll it up.
30.
Not a great casting. Costs you an additional exhaustion than it would normally. Okay. But it is up and going. Two blue orbs form beside the creature and fly at you.
This thing is relentless.
and you are encased in essentially an igloo of your height. It is an icy dome. You can't see through it.
Oh, man.
But the temperature is clearly dropping very quickly inside the dome. Next round.
All right. Initiative 15.
Oh, geez.
Not looking good.
What would you like to do?
I'm going to try to... I guess I should try to break it first. I could just try to teleport outside of it.
Yes.
That might surprise it for sure. So I'll just have to use my memory, try to teleport. Just right outside of it. Kind of just where I was, but 10 feet towards it.
There are places you have several places around it that, because of the unusual system of fissures here, which, they're a little trip hazard, but they're not broad. You could get most of your forearm down there. Because they form such unusual patterns, you have several places that you do remember very distinctly. So you really have lots of choices to teleport beyond just right outside it.
Okay.
So you could teleport further behind it, like further deeper into the cavern system,
right?
If you wanted. Of course, you could just teleport out if you're not quite sure how to proceed here.
Yeah, I want to teleport. I'd probably have the most tactical advantage because I think this thing is going to try to hunt me down. So I should definitely take care of it.
So tactical advantage depends on what you're going to do. Are you going to go for bola? Are you going to go for a melee weapon? Right.
Well, actually, I think I want to try channeling. Just to
okay,
see.
So some distance is
range
what you
attack,
want.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you pick a location? Do you want deeper into the cavern? Do you want further back?
I kind of want to get. Let's get closer to it. Well, yeah, I don't know if it really matters. I just don't want to change my distance from it. I think because deeper will make it harder to throw. Right, I'm gonna be further away.
Well, it depends on where it is, and you can't see what it's doing. It's not making a sound.
True.
So your hope is that when you teleport to one of these locations, it's assuming you're still in the dome.
Right.
And then you might be able to close distance enough for a bola or a blast of your channeling power.
Yeah, actually, I think that is better if I'm going to try to get closer to it, so that'll surprise it, and I'll be at better range to hit it. So let's.
So
teleport.
Deeper in would put you, if you teleport deeper into the cavern system to one of those different, sort of unique fission patterns that just spring to your mind, that should put it. You hopefully would be behind it, but still well within range.
Right. Okay. When you say deeper, I'm a bit confused. You mean deeper heading the
Further
unexplored area?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But I understand that does put you between it and an exit.
You're right. I was thinking of behind. Yeah. I think let's take that risk. Let's do
Okay.
it.
Roll to teleport. Oh God, do we need a drum roll?
I think we do. This is a pretty crucial roll. I'm using my channeling.
All right, Quinn, Obi-Wan, Liz, and Tux. Let's get some drum roll going because we know it's a teleport, and we know magic in Karandrin is ridiculous, is not to be taken for granted. Man, where is the love we had before?
All we got is snowmen and guys in wheelchairs.
That's hilarious.
Not good.
Man, that's another one where I don't have that one. I don't have the Quinn's wheelchair one. What was the one I didn't have last time we played? I forget what it was.
Oh yeah, there was one you were like heart and then X or something.
Yeah, it was weird. Man, nobody, huh? That is just cruel. Well, we can't wait.
Well,
all right, roll it up.
I'll roll it up. Let's use my channeling helm. Or my 100.
Very nice.
I don't
Roll
need
again.
any of your drum rolls.
Roll again and add it.
Yeah. 40.
Fantastic. It was such an elegant casting that it burns no charge on your adder.
Very nice.
And cost you 5 exhaustion instead of 10.
See, if I could just do that every time, Kevin, that would be...
I don't know why you can't, honestly. So Boom, you are out of the dome. The creature is hovering in front of the dome, closer than where you last saw it, closer to the dome than where you last saw it. A blue mist is emanating from it and surrounding the dome. You are you're behind it and to its right. It has not noticed you.
Awesome.
You'll have to sneak just a little bit to get within a decent range, but no real problem there. What would you like to do?
Let's do that. Let's get a good vantage point and launch a channeling.
Channeling. All right, so roll the sneak just a little bit.
92.
Very nice. And roll. Roll. How many power points are you going to put in?
I'm going to pour in. Let's pour in 12 power points.
Okay.
Annihilate this guy.
Yes. And roll her up.
96.
Roll again and add it.
There we go. Good rolls. 50.
Wow. That is off the chart. That is not good for it.
For him.
All right.
Karen, she just posted a bunch of cash, so I think that's all we needed. Drum rolls are passe. It's all about the money now.
It is. All right. Roll your critical.
52.
And roll again for another critical.
60.
In a very unusual pyrotechnic display, it almost is as though it absorbs the light, this bright white light that is the hallmark of your channeling, and it illuminates the creature's sort of spherical body of mist, and then contracts and explodes, and it's gone. The dome collapses and seems to begin melting.
Oh, man.
There you are, sir.
All right. Well, I'll go and investigate just the area where the dome was. I mean, did it really just feel like just frost? Like a magical frost, kind of like that.
I mean, yeah, it's clearly some sort of magical. I mean, it's hard to say, right? I mean, it's certainly unnatural.
Yeah.
And
did it have any other properties? If there's any remaining, just to go and toy around?
No, there's a good deal. I mean, there's several hundred pounds of it remaining.
Okay.
It's melting what appears to be a natural rate. Like you begin to see it, glistening from the heat. Whereas before, no, it was getting colder and colder. Did you subtract your hit point loss?
How much was I? You said I was stunned for 2 rounds, losing 5 hit points a round. But I guess that was continuous.
That's continuous, but it immediately feels better. That ceases when the creature dies.
Okay. So that's probably how many rounds? That was 2 I already took care of. Then I got stuck in the igloo.
So maybe 2?
Out of the igloo. Yeah, I would say 2 more. So at 127 out of 167 HP. So not bad, but not feeling great.
You definitely can tell you've been hurt.
Yeah.
Likewise, sort of this icy effect where it was, adhering to the floor every step you took. That too is gone. You notice actually that the whole place is beginning to feel warmer, that you didn't really notice the chill, until it began to ease. What would you like to do?
Okay. Well, I will. Let's take a few more. Do I have another healing potion? Actually, I want to save those because those are pretty damn good. I'll just take another herb here. I'll take one. I have some draft that'll for 2 rounds. It'll restore 1 to 10 HP. So I guess I'll just take that and say we roll 2d10.
Sure, 13.
Okay.
There are the 2 bodies.
Oh yeah. Let's go investigate those more closely now.
So you find on there sort of just scattered on the floor where pouches had just decayed. You find 65 gold.
Oh, sweet.
16 silver. There is a pair of boots that add plus 15 ruined to swimming.
Oh.
There is a plus 10 substance dagger. And plus 10 craft serrated hand axe.
The boots were plus 15 rune to swimming?
Yes.
Plus 15, okay, yeah. Yeah, give me a moment to write that all down.
Sure.
Sorry, Quinn, for not dying, by the way. I tried real hard, but I just rolled too good.
That's right.
So, out of just curiosity, what does serration do?
So serration
has some knowledge, but I don't know what it does on weapons.
So in Rollmaster, in Karandrin, really, Rollmaster doesn't have any. I forget if they have rules for serration, but it adds a secondary critical, and secondary means 2 steps lower than your primary critical. So if you get a C critical, then this would give you an additional A critical /
Gotcha.
And so, so you can get your spear serrated if you wished, for instance, and then if you get at least a C, then you'll be getting an A / critical in addition. So.
Actually, that sounds really good. I might have to do that. Is that any kind of blacksmith would do, or if it's a magic weapon, would it have to be,
Yeah, you might need a more skilled blacksmith so as not to disrupt enchantments on.
I gave you serration, but now your spear doesn't work.
Exactly.
No
It
more
has
mana.
no other. All it is serrated.
That'll be 500 gold.
That's right. Thanks for coming.
Okay, well, we will press on
Okay.
for this cave.
So you're at a point where it's getting so broad. You're sort of having to wander back and forth a little bit to gain the whole view of things.
Mm-hmm.
You do find graffiti on a wall, carved on rocks and so on. And it makes reference to that character. I forget his name, but you remember that graffiti you found in the first one that he was an ass and so on.
Yeah, I wrote that one down specifically. 1 second. Just search for ass. Oh, 59 references. Oh my gosh, this is going to take a while.
Maybe space ass.
It's Agakyle. Agga.
So here, again, it's much the same. Agakyle is a bastard. Agakyle's a taskmaster. I mean, it's just lots of slurs, and there is sketches of him. He apparently was human, not goblin. The sketch shows him with wearing robes. It shows him sitting on a stack of books.
You mean shitting on a stack of books?
Maybe, possibly, if you're Sean Connery. I was shitting.
Yeah. Sean Connery's also an ass. So.
That's right. You have to watch you have to go look for the Sean Connery interview in which he justifies when you should hit a woman.
I think I've heard of that. Like,
it's so, like, you're just like, I mean, it's just so obviously of its own time.
Yeah.
You know? But even then, because I think it was from the 80s, even then, it's not as though people were just talking casually about beating women.
Yeah.
One of the expressions he had, well, when women go on like they do, you're like, what? You're just okay to smack them, huh?
What do you mean, Sean?
Jeez.
What a character.
But he's depicted also clearly by a different artist. He's holding it. It's too long to be a wand. It's got to be, and he's holding it mid length. It's got to be a rod that he uses, and they show it emanating power or light or something. So clearly a spellcaster, clearly head of this part of the project.
Yeah. Also explains a little bit about possibly the torches for him.
Right.
Ever burning torches.
Right. Roll for me.
75.
Agakyle, just from the structure of the word, is would be from Theaxia. It would be so not like a pen name. It would be they didn't hire this guy out of that region either. His roots are in Theaxia. The strange trees, both on the floor and on the ceiling, have thinned out almost to nothing. They're very rare if you see them at all. And you reach sort of a curving hook in the back of this very broad cavern now. At its very end, And you find like broken smoking pipes. You find stools that were set up. So this was kind of like where the guys would go and sneak off on break and things like that.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Well, there you are, sir. You believe that's the end of this complex.
Interesting. Okay. So my thought now is this Mr. Agakyle, wonder where he stayed. If the bunks, up there seemed more of like for earlier miners and then maybe for the goblin researchers. I wonder if he had a office somewhere.
Right.
Outside the mine or
right. I mean, if he was in charge of things, then probably for his status, he demanded some degree of comfort.
Right.
And maybe that just meant a very elaborate tent setup.
True.
But something. Presumably nearby. Would he have wanted something? I mean, if there was easy access to the slope or something where he could have a view, have a position of loftiness, right? An elevated status, or, would they have built him something on the edge of the bluff, right? So he could have a view, and it would only be, a few minutes walk, half an hour walk to work every day.
Yeah.
Given your attention to status, those are some things that occur to you.
Fine, yeah. It might be worth, I'll go exit, find my way out of the mine and just try to look again for any kind of remnants of if they took anything out of the mine, if it left any trace, where that might have gone to, find any extension of this operation, right?
Right.
So yeah, we'll head back out of the mine and do a little search out there.
Make it out. Lala senses your presence and greets you at the exit and the entrance. You have a sense from her that she's contented and well fed. Of course, while you're in there, you get no real sense of alarm from her. Where would you like to begin your search?
Well, just at the entrance of the mine. Just are there any kind of those carts like might have left tracks or any kind of rubble that might indicate a trail?
You sort of poke around with your spear to see if the sort of railing continues out. And they sort of produce furrows for the wheels to run in. You're having to sort of unbury it with your shield, your spear point.
Yeah.
They go out probably about 50 feet as straight as they can if there's not a clear boulder or just something that was just too hard to get past. Mm-hmm. You do find, after you've lost the rails, you do find a small wooden structure. It's narrow and long. It's probably about 5 feet wide and about 15 feet long. Roll for me.
7.
Yeah, you just don't know mining very well to know what it might be. But if they're taking stuff out, there's no evidence of where it went.
So can you describe it again? It's like a long structure.
It's remnants of wood, really.
Right.
But very heavy, short pieces of wood that are come straight out. They seem to run. They seem to be a continuation. They seem to be in line with where you lost the rail. So
Yeah. Okay.
but it's only about 5 feet wide, but it's about 15 feet long. It was built heavily. The pieces of wood are set into the ground a good ways and are, really thick supports.
Yeah.
So this wasn't a structure that you would live in. It's a structure that, might have held tools, but it's supposed to support a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And so it occurs to you, maybe it's a ramp for dumping carts.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so maybe they dump some onto a horse and wagon, or into the wagon, the horse-drawn wagon, and then they take it somewhere else to be dumped out of the way. Now there's rocks at the bottom of the slope here, but you assume that to be just natural rock. But then you don't know how much natural rock should there be there.
Yeah.
Your home of Grattan Law was very hilly, but not really mountainous. So if there's a single pile somewhere, if you would expect it to be of some size, and there doesn't seem to be anything like that unless it's just overgrown. And you've just taken it as part of the slope. Roll for me.
75.
There does appear to be an unusual lacking of grass in one part of this sort of clearing, the sort of bowl-like clearing, the circular clearing up against the slope. And so it occurs to you that a foundation could get in the way of vegetation there, something like that, and maybe the structure is now gone. There was the signs of battle here. So if it wasn't something the pen intended to make use of it again, maybe they burned everything down.
Yeah. I forgot. Do we even know who won the battle? Was it was the goblins, or was it not really?
That's
certain?
What the goblins say, but of course that's what you know what I mean. Yeah. But even if it was just a pirate victory.
Yeah, guys, everybody, the British really won the American Revolution. Yeah,
that's right.
3 books of lies.
The South will rise again. I tell you, if you go to a civil rights show, you will be a Civil War show. You will be shocked by what ideas are still floated out there.
Yeah, my favorite is the board game. There's like a reenactment board game for the Civil War. It's just like it's down to the names of the soldiers who were in like the garrisons. Like you literally play as them, and it's like, theoretically, then if it plays out exactly the same. One would think it would be the same result if it's that detailed, but
yeah. Well,
narratives.
I worked on a lot of Civil War histories, and so that's one of the things you see a lot is like regimental histories, where like we have the listing of everybody, in a given 1,500 man regiment. That's pretty funny. The level of detail they go to.
Well, I'll go check out this clearing then. Just see again any remains of any buildings or unnatural structures.
So you approach the slope of the mountain. This is deeper into the meadow, where away from the edge of the bluff.
Yeah.
and there are definitely remnants, not more than a foot high of a structure here. They seem to there's no real evidence of what happened to it, but there's the structure was relatively large, more than 50 feet long, 30 feet wide, and just continuing along the curve of the slope. Mm-hmm. You find another one that's even larger. And you wonder if this is maybe where the outer garrison might have lived. You don't really know the sizes of military buildings. Like, could this be, the temporary lodging of the general or colonel who commanded this? Or right. No, this is more likely to be like a multi-level structure where, no, this is where the majority of the men were. But there's no sign of them now. But things out here. Why don't you roll for me? A little
88.
So things out here were pretty thoroughly destroyed that you would think would be the goblins. That is to say, the goblins' buildings seem to be destroyed, but yet inside seems relatively intact. Right? I mean, yes, it's empty, but tables weren't overturned, the beds weren't destroyed, things like right. this. And right. So what you're wondering is, was it a standoff at the mouth of the cave? And so, yes, they beat the goblins back and forced them into the cave and got access to their structures and destroyed those, but didn't make it. But they were stopped by the goblin force being able to, with a narrow entrance, that's a lot harder to take.
Yeah.
And so maybe it was more like a standoff where both sides scored points, but now the pen can't stay around in enemy territory hoping to smoke out some unknown project by the goblins.
Yeah.
And wait for more trouble to arrive. And the goblins are good horsemen. They're light on feet. They're sneaky. And so you now, so if one or two got free, then you could expect them to report and bring back more troops. So maybe it was sort of a weird standoff between outside and inside.
Yeah, it is interesting. Trying to figure out that it's like a military forensics.
Right.
One thing I'll try, which would be interesting to see, is detect shelter. See if I can find any sort of intact structure or anything else nearby. So that is 500 feet plus 500. So it's a radius. So 500 feet plus 500 feet a level. So it'd be level 8, right? Yeah, level 8. So that would be math. 5 times 8 is
4,500 feet.
4,500. Wow. Okay. Yeah, it's a 6th level spell. I'm going to use my channeling helm. Just see what I find. See what pops up in my head.
All right. Roll to cast.
Bada bing, bada boo. Ooh, that's a 10. That's a fumble, isn't it?
That's a fumble.
That's a fumble.
Good thing.
Wah, wah, wah. Does that consume the slot in the helm?
Yes.
Yeah.
But hey, you got a free one, so you kind of...
I wasted on a fumble.
So you take 12 damage.
Wow.
You lose 12 exhaustion. And it kind of knocks you on your ass. So maybe, I don't know, maybe take a moment and concentrate.
I'm surprised there was no like a weird repercussion where it's just like you just keep detecting shelters like over and over again. It's like you see every shelter now in X-ray.
It detects lack of shelter.
It's just someone screaming in your head. That's not a shelter. That's not a shelter. That tree. That's not a shelter.
So you're talking about the scream, about the scream of the detection, right? Made me think of this thing that I was reminded on watching QI. You know, the famous artwork, The Scream, right?
Oh yeah.
And you know that the common misinterpretation of it is that the figure is the one screaming.
Yeah.
In fact, the figure screaming, the figure is not the one screaming. The figure is holding their ears against the scream of nature.
Oh.
So you should read up on his comments on that. I forget the guy's name, the German artist who did that. But people think the figure is screaming, but he's not. All of nature is screaming
at him,
and he is just so trapped in this. But it was from a dream that the artist had. Edmund. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, Edmund. Yeah, because I was looking up an article about him, something else about like notes he put in his paintings or something, and there was one in the Scream that was like, that's what I was confused about. So, but yeah, okay, that's interesting. He tricked us all.
That's right. Well, not the Germans. The full title for the Germans clearly explains. It's like the scream from nature. And Americans shortened it down to the scream, and so we had less information. But anyway, I know you're interested in art, so I thought I'd toss that out. So, sir,
we're going to try that again with the channeling helm.
Do you want to take a nice, easy approach and just stay focused?
Yeah.
And because that way it'll lower you down to a
take time.
That's right. You'll need a nice low number. So, all right.
Maybe I'll have a beer and.
That's right. All right, roll it up.
Bada bing, bada boom. 35.
No problem. It detects, of course, the fact of the cavern. It detects two other structures. Well, not structures, but some forms of shelter higher up on the mountain. It's a good, half mile up the slope that you detect them. You get a sense that both of those must, from where that radar ping is coming from, it's too interior to the mountain to be a structure per se. It has to be a cavern or something like that, both of those. And there's one lower down, well beyond, as you're facing the slope, and the cavern is to your left. Beyond that and down, there's a structure that also feels like it's somewhat interior to the mountain. And it also is probably a half mile away, down slope. So there's several cavern-like things around here, but nothing else.
Yeah. What time of day is it? I woke at noon, so it's
right.
And I spent some time looking at the big tree, walking up and down the scaffolding, investigating the journals, and then battling that creature. So probably late afternoon.
Yeah, it's late afternoon by now. Yeah.
Yeah. Might be hello, Arpen. Thanks for
Hey,
joining.
Arpen.
I need to see. It might be good to touch base with. Actually, remember I was deceptive when I last saw Adabir. I think it was on the. Wasn't too long ago.
Thanks for the research, Quinn. Munch, that's his name. Munch.
Oh, Edward Munch. Yeah.
Edcard.
Edcard. Way to spell Edward wrong.
That's right. Actually, way to spell
where's
Edgar.
your W key on your keyboard?
That's right.
Yeah, so I asked. Okay, I spoke to Adabir on the 17th, and it's the 19th. So yeah, it's not even that long. Okay, I'm curious actually about. I think going back into town, and or even talking to Adabir about some of these things I've come across. I've got a lot of questions. So, and I mean, actually, it's funny because Adabir has all the magic apprentices, right? So they might know quite a bit, be a good resource about any of this stuff.
Right.
So seeing that it's late afternoon, and I do have my horse at camp. So, so that I think if I feel like I'm, well, actually, I guess I can ask you, how much do I feel like I've explored of the bluff? So I know I've walked down off of it to these
easily half of it.
Yeah.
Pretty easily half of it. I mean, there's still, there's who knows what's still prowling around, especially at night.
Yeah.
You know that there's the drummer boy, the goblin drummer boy.
Yeah.
Still around. Not that you're
and
obligated.
There's another robed guy too. Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah. Since I still have maybe like half of it to explore, I think we'll definitely stay another day or two. So why don't we go back to camp and just take it easy the rest of the day, and then the next day we'll check out the other half of the bluff, maybe that hasn't been explored too much.
Okay. What do you think about?
What's that?
No, what were you going to say?
I need to recast Disguise Camp as well because mine expired probably a few hours ago in the afternoon. Right. 19th, yeah.
Well, what do you think about taking a quick break and then we'll get you back to camp and we'll press on.
Perfect.
Does that sound good? So, all right, guys, we'll be right back. Just give us a few minutes. Go refresh your drinks and hop and look at his ongoing notes and so on. I'll post them again, and as well as character sheet, personality. Welcome to donate or go look at the jokes I posted. And you can go look at Brise's artist, the artist there of the caricature. But we'll be back in just a few minutes, and we'll see what Brise learns in the next day. So we'll see you in just a few minutes. That was the wrong thing to do. Well, there we go. Except it reverted back to our old format.
Hello.
There we go.
Can't hear you, Kevin.
You can't hear me.
No, cannot hear you.
Oh, my God.
Well, this is much better.
Wait.
We'll just keep playing. Oh, look, 300 gold pieces. Very nice. I don't know. Did you switch mics again by accident? No. Yeah, people can say if you can hear Kevin or not.
That is so weird. My mic is registering.
Well, no one's in the chat to say if they can hear Kevin.
That is not good. Well, let's do this.
Hear you now.
You can?
Yeah.
All right. Weird. I didn't change anything.
It just came back on.
Yeah, and my mic was showing that it was, it was getting input.
Weird.
Strange. All right. Well, welcome back, gang. Thanks for hanging with us through the break. Brise has exited the cave and is now looking to head back to camp to process what she's learned and then going to return. Our pen can't hear the Brise character that's in between us. That's a shame. I don't know what we're going to do about that. Are you hiking back? Are you teleporting back to your camp? What are you doing?
Let's hike back.
Okay. Are you sending Laula ahead?
Yeah. Yep.
Encounters, she spots the little drummer boy.
Okay.
Coming your way. And in fact, is just at the edge of the woods of the clearing. And while this clearing is large, you're a 6'2" or 6 foot even human. If you don't want to be seen, you're gonna need to probably lay on your belly in the grass.
Maybe we should just teleport.
Well, that's fine too.
Yep. I will. Let's just do a teleport. Yeah, back to camp.
So you must summon Laula back to you.
Mm-hmm.
She comes back hurriedly. You're going to teleport. So everybody, get your drum rolls ready.
Well, no, careful. The drummer boy is.
That's true. You may get a counter drum roll. This time, not from Quinn.
I get the drum rolls, and they power the teleport, but then also empowers him, the undead, with the drum.
That's right. He comes with you. Are you using?
Comes with me. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Are you using? the?
I've got no more slots on the helm, so I'm using straight points. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. People are not willing to help me here, so.
Apparently, Obi-Wan complained that there was such a bad time delay between us requesting a drum roll and them hearing it.
Really?
And there we go. Now Obi-Wan hears us and gives us one.
One drum.
I don't know what
that's not a roll.
I know. That's really no good. I don't know why she hates us, but
well, now if I get a bad roll, I'm just going to blame it on Karen. So
that's true.
All right. Cast and teleport. 95. Okay.
Man, you were really swinging today.
Roll drum.
Roll again and add
51 on top of that.
All right. Nice. Let's call that 8 power points, and let's call it 8 exhaustion points. Now roll to focus on your spot where you want to return to.
20.
You wind up on the game trail. A fleeting thought must have struck you while you were at the end of the spell. Not add more drums. If you anything about playing a snare drum, Obi-Wan, if you knew anything about typing, that would be helpful.
The effing sticks, not add more drums. Yeah, but there's only so much you could do with emojis. We should have like, on Twitch you could do custom emojis, right? So you could do like 5 drums, and it's like ones where it's like this, 2 like that, 3 like this. So it's like,
oh sure, the animation.
Gonna pseudo.
Well, it's not as though when we ask for a drum roll, we're asking people to show us a drum. That is like a physical drum. The idea is it symbolizes the sound and the length of the sound. I didn't know that's how symbology worked, but probably people with common sense did. But I don't want to chastise the chat. I don't want to chat-tize. What?
Chat's getting angry.
But so you're very close to the camp. You're like, no problem.
Okay.
Finish the hike up. Roll for me.
28.
Something has broken off, has cut off the, what am I trying to say? Has gone off the trail, very large, and has broken through bushes and so on. Roll.
98.
Gee whiz, you've made some mistakes, but you're on fire. Don't take away my cookies, Obi-Wan. I know where they are. I know where you sleep. I know with whom you sleep.
I know where you live.
There's no doubt in your mind. The ogres must have been here very recently.
Yeah. More recently than last night.
Yeah, yes. Roll for me.
75.
Movement. About 300 feet away, perpendicular to the game trail, moving away from the bluffs on this side, and they are moving down that way. You can see movement. The brush is too high to really make it out, but as much stuff is moving, you've got to think it's the ogres. Certainly raises concerns about the condition of your camp, given that things have expired.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let's... we can just confirm, send Laula, towards the movement. Just,
Yes, absolutely. 2 ogres. You didn't get a look at the other 2, the 2 from last night, but surely the odds are this has to be them. As you focus, through her eyes, they don't seem to be covered in gore and blood. So surely they haven't eaten your horse yet, and they don't have a horse with them. They are very heavily armed.
Oh, man.
They have several weapons on them each. They are, I mean, they believe in weapons. I'll tell you that much. They are loaded.
Is that even legal here?
It's right.
Put that gun away.
As long as you got a prescription. So.
Prescription, yeah. Okay. Are they wearing any armor as well?
They are wearing armor. One is mostly accessories, a heavy helm, and a shield. The other one is greaves and hides, it looks like. You have frozen a lot this stream, at least for me. You've frozen a lot. And every time it's frozen with you in this contemplative state. So just a minute ago, it froze with you like this. You were like, and I'm like, I didn't think it was that deep of an issue, like to think about what their weapons were. It was so strange. It was so strange.
I wonder if that says something about how often I make contemplative faces.
That's right.
That's funny. Everyone else, let me know if I'm freezing a lot. Maybe I'll lower my quality again if it's not distracting them. Because I don't know.
You can't lower the quality of this stream. I'll tell you that much right now.
This is the highest quality role playing available.
I hope so.
So, all right. Yeah, these guys are even more dangerous than I thought. Great. I will make my way sneakily back to camp then.
All right. Takes you a bit of time. The sun is definitely going down. Horse definitely seems skittish. No doubt has caught wind, literally caught wind of them. Smelled them on the air. And you feel definitely time to protect this camp.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan says you are frozen.
Oh, am I still frozen? That might have been delayed, right? So,
right. I'm not sure we'll ever get an accurate answer about
this creature you created is some powers beyond.
That's right. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna call that creature the frigid air. Anyway, it's a brand. You sure could lower the quality. Josh could be here. Oh,
I love that. There's no symbol emoji, so he did like a bongo. It's like and then pop.
Bonk.
Okay, so Karen says there was a delay, so I guess we're okay now. Looking through my spells here, so I know I disguise camp, and I know I had one that also watchful strength. Oh, it's 8th level. I have enough power points. That is pretty mighty of a spell. I was getting confused because in D&D there's the alarm spell, which like costs nothing to cast, and I always think, oh yeah, I'll just cast an alarm. I'm like, no, it's an 8th level spell. It's a lot for me. How many power points do I have? I've got 20. Okay. Yeah, might as well not take any risks. We'll do a people are saying I'm back to being fuzzy. Well, I guess that's just the stream throughput is not. It says I have a yellow connection. Yeah. 6 out of 10. Okay. Well, if it becomes unbearable, let us know and maybe we'll try to debug it. But all right, so I'm going to cast Disguise Camp first, and then I'll cast Watchful Strength.
All right. Roll it up.
Okay. Disguise Camp, 31.
Good job.
How many PowerPoints is that again? I don't remember where
6.
that is. No, it's 3. Disguise Camp.
Oh, Disguise. What was I thinking? I don't remember. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And then I'll do Watchful Strength, which is 8.
Okay.
79.
Oh, nice.
Casts.
And what's the duration on watchful strength?
That is 12 hours a level.
Oh, nice.
Long ass time. Four 24-hour intervals. 4 days. So I'm going to write those down.
When you cast it, it affects everybody you name in camp. Is that right?
Magical are in the area magically awake all those named at casting. Yeah. So
Okay.
I can
So
name
do you
my
want
horse
to name?
and Lala and me.
What about our dwarven trapper?
Oh, true. I could just name him.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't need to be in the area?
No. Because the effect is on the area. It just needs to know who to grant.
That's so cool. I did not even think about that. I will name him that.
Okay.
Now I don't know if he knows what happens when he wakes up, but hopefully he'll get a drift.
You just have to remind it. You have to, inform your guests that there's an enchantment on them as they enter.
Right.
So.
Right. No, I meant like if he does. Let's say an ogre comes in here. He's 10 miles away. He just suddenly wakes up. Like, what was that?
No. It'll have to be here and named.
Wait, okay. So yeah, go run that through me again. So I can name him, which means once he's here in the area. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So it's at the time of casting. I name him. He still needs to be in the area.
Okay, right.
Yeah. I was.
It's right. You have the magical Java. You're just waking people up for no reason.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah, I name everyone in the world. Everyone in Convergence suddenly just awakens. Oh my god.
You just go to an inn, right? And you make friends and you just write down their names, and then
they never
cast it. And then in the middle of the night, you get up and just knock over a table or something. And then run back to your bed.
For 4 days and cast disguise. And disguise camp is Faith's Pass, 4 hours, 4 hours of level. So that's 4 times 8, 32, 36, right? So that's a day and a half. Okay. Today's the. So that'll expire on the 21st. Kind of like early afternoon on the 21st. All right. Okay, now we'll try to relax, have some food, and.
All right. So, do you want to do some studying? Do you want to do? Do you just want to take it easy? Race a meal.
Yeah. Let me also update my PowerPoints right quick. So that was 8th level plus 3rd level, so it's 11. So it's 9.
Yep.
I'm at 35 for exhaustion. So yeah, we'll try reading a little bit. I think I'll read more of my book on the Fae. Could I prioritize searching for that creature in the book on the Fae?
Sure.
Yeah. So like studying the book, but with an emphasis on looking for that creature, however we want to. Maybe like 30 minutes of studying, 30 minutes of looking for that guy. Half and half, whatever we
want. You're sort of, you're flipping through, you're looking for words, you're sort of skimming for words about cloud or mist or gas. You're also looking at what illustrations there are. And I mean, it does reference at least 2 other species. And you stop and read those entries. But again, it doesn't really ring. It's too similar to the creature, this gaseous creature you fought.
Right.
Fairies, are roughly humanoid in most of the instances you've come across. None of them appear to be, sort of, forgive the term, but nebulous. They're corporeal beings that can change into this form. There's one species you read about will produce a cloud that it can ride on. So your first thought is this doesn't seem like a fae that anyone else has encountered, at least not the author of this book.
And the other thing I think about, it was emanating from a fissure, right? So it kind of seems like something that belongs to, I don't know, the earth or the mountain.
Right. Some sort of subterranean creatures, some sort of attachment to earth and earthen elements. Yeah. What would you like to do? Go back. You want to study now? Let's see how long you can study.
Let's just actually do some studying of the.
Roll it in.
94.
Wow. That is a solid 2 hours of reading.
Okay. Let me just some meal. Almost forgot about that. Boom.
Is there anything you need to do before you go to bed?
No, not that I'm aware of.
All right, then roll your 3 nightly rolls, and I will roll my 1.
99, 55.
Okay.
2.
Okay.
And 74.
Wake mid-morning, more tired than you thought you would be. Sleeping late. Nothing happened in the night. No significant dreams. And you feel fine.
Right.
How many hit points were you short?
I was 128 out of 167, so 39.
Okay, so you are fully healed.
Nice. Strong, independent woman.
Mm-hmm.
I say so strong.
Very strong smelling. And mid-morning?
Mid-morning, right.
April 19th, is that what you've got?
April 20th.
April 21st, I got you.
No, yesterday was the 19th.
Okay. I'll figure out where I went wrong.
We're always like one date off.
I know. What is going on with that? With me, let's be honest, with me.
Yeah. Well, again, I have mine flowing, right? So usually when you turn a page, you said you sometimes mislabel it.
Right. Yep, and that's what happened.
Okay. So just get one really long piece of paper, and then you won't have to worry about that. Like a typewriter that just goes on forever.
That's weird. I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
No problem.
After the session, yeah.
So the camp seems fine. You give the horse more water, lead him to the little creek that's not too far away, beyond your little ledge. There's no sign on that side of the camp that anything has passed through. But clearly, there's going to come a point where you're going to have to decide, how much risk your horse is at.
Yeah. I think I'll say like one more day, and if we see another sign of the trolls, then we're gonna have to move camp. But we've gotten lucky so far, so we'll keep it as is for now, just because that would be a big pain. I'm gonna move everything.
All right. Are we hiking? Are we teleporting?
Well, yeah, I'll have some breakfast and then we'll hike down and try to check out that other side of the bluff. Kind of go in a direction I haven't gone before.
Okay.
Interesting things. And send Lao Lao ahead just in like 50 feet to scope everything out.
Reach the forward edge of the bluff about noon. Off the game trail. There is more evidence that the ogres are exploring the area. There's a place where, as your game trail winds down to the bluff, higher up you can see a place where they pushed aside brush and just climbed up on a rock, and they ate something that they had killed. There is, but that's a good mile from your place, you feel, but still they're hunting in the area. And you can see flies, up on the rock, and you can see bone, and you can see where, like, to lift themselves, they put a bloody hand up on the rock and pulled themselves up and things like that. Make it down to the edge of the bluff. Interesting. There's blood pretty high up on a tree here, on these, sparse trees that are on this meadow. So you don't know when that was left, but they might be hunting in the meadow now.
Yeah. Here is an interesting thing to try. I have a tracking from nature's law. If there's some remnant left by them, but that necessarily, it just says plus 30. So I guess that would be plus 30 to help me find them, not tell me where they've gone.
Right. It improves your own skill at tracking, which your skill at tracking is not great. You've not done very much of it.
Right.
And that's something that you might, you might talk to a trapper about. You might talk to, is it Auberdahl? Is the local guy? No, Shedril.
Shedril, yeah.
Yeah, Shedril is, you might get some lessons from him about how to spot tracks and what tracks mean and where else to look. He's not adverse to a little more coin here and there. So, what do you want to do, sir? You may have ogre in the area, although they're not going to be friendly to undead either.
Right. Yeah, you might have cleared a path. Well, let's, just do a little bit of, what do you call it? Critical thinking. Let's find out maybe how old this blood is, and I guess exercise my tracking skills that I do have a little bit of, and
roll.
Determine what I can. 55.
Blood is still of interest to flies, so it must have some moisture on it. So your guess is that they probably came here early this morning. As you know, it could be, exploring this area, it could take them a couple hours to even make it all the way to the other side, especially if they're going cautiously hoping for game. So do you want to follow? Do you want to find? Do you want to track them actually, or you just want that answer?
Yeah, I'm thinking. My character seems. Yeah, let's track them a little while. I feel confident I could like sneak up on them, if I did come across them, or I would hear them, far away.
Yeah.
So I will let's pull out my tome and actually try do some tracking then.
Oh, did you recover all your PowerPoints? Did you make note of that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'll yank on my tome. It's a first level spell.
Okay. Roll it up.
67.
Okay. No problem. It's weird. It's just weird having magic affect your perceptions, because now things start standing out to you. Your sort of understanding of the world changes, right?
Yeah. Spidey senses.
Yeah, exactly. And so they clearly went in together. And within sight of the edge, you can see where they stopped, and they decided to split up. And so you make it to that spot quietly. Which one do you want to chase? Which path do you want to go down? Which of their tracks? Toward the slope, or toward the edge of the bluff?
Right. Yeah. Let's go towards the slope.
Okay. Roll for me.
5.
Lose it almost immediately. I'll give you another roll to try to pick it up.
20.
Wow. There is a big sign that points that gets you back on the right track. I just rolled 276.
Oh my. Joel's
so,
finger.
So yeah, I mean, it's something just so obvious, like a bloodied bush, or like a broken limb or something. So you're back on it. Roll again for me.
10. This is one sneaky troll.
Well, it could be the terrain.
Right.
Rocky terrain leaving their mark.
Right.
Yeah, there's that's the end of that trail. I mean,
okay.
Can't really find it. Lala, you might spiral Lala out to sea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lala encounters about 100 feet away. A pile of cloth and remains, far too small to be an ogre. Heavily trampled grass. It's something definitively that the ogre killed. What would you like to do?
Let's strike out in that direction.
You make it there. It's definitely the robed figure from yesterday.
Oh.
And it, or God help you, the ogre, has the ability to throw magic. There are blast marks here and there on the trees. there are items of the undead goblin that have been scattered around. Clearly, the body's been plundered. Containers just torn open and tossed aside. So there's things like rope and so on. But the clearly very heavy weapon blows on this. You can see through the robes.
Yeah.
What now?
Anything might have been left behind that seems interesting?
No.
Just junk.
Just basically junk, yeah.
Yeah. Well, can we pick up another trail from here?
No, too rocky around. Lala's your only hope.
Okay. Try to fly Lala out once more.
Man, Lala's finding shit every time. Like rolling 90s every time.
Nice.
The ogre clearly turned after sitting for a while on the grass. There's just a big mashed area of grass. Still some blood on it, no doubt from the meal earlier, and you can see traces of it on the grass through Lala's eyes. Again, she's about 75 feet ahead this time. And then the trail cuts directly across the bluff toward its edge.
Mm.
Do you want to travel to that spot and then see if you can pick up the trail from there?
Yeah.
This is really interesting. Like you're following creatures who are encountering creatures, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really like what are, I guess they're hunting, right? So they're just kind of meandering about till they find something.
Roll for me.
97.
Roll again and add
it. 96.
Roll again and add it.
66.
Wow. The ogre at this point is clearly running.
Oh my gosh.
The strides have gotten enormous. You know, you can see places where the frantic pace where it caused it to lose balance, and it would like strike a tree with its shoulder, something like that, and just tear the bark off the shoulder. You can see where it tumbled on the ground. And then as you're sort of you're walking cautiously, you don't want to stumble into these guys. You hear a chilling, a strange, chilling sound of drums.
No.
Deep ahead in the bluff. So now as you're cutting toward the bluff's edge, and you've only gone 100 feet or so, it would be to your right, further, deeper along the bluff as it curves around the slope of the mountain. They're very distant, but they are unnerving. You can feel you can feel a chill in your soul. And then there is the definitive bellow of an ogre. What would you like to do?
Oh And I'm pretty curious to investigate. Sounded a far way off, so we'll move towards it, having Laula scout ahead. Sneaky. It's not just funny, the concept of like a whole undead ensemble. It's just like the saxophonist. Oh my god, it's terrible. I love it.
We were
strikes fear in your heart.
Karen and I were on a little boat tour, steamboat tour on the Mississippi a number of years ago, and this just shows you like sort of like where your racism creeps in, right? And we had seen the band that was going to play on the steamboat. And we're like, oh, cool, great, And we're like, oh, we hope that white guy doesn't sing because he looks like he has like he has an accounting job and he can play that one instrument and that is it.
Right.
Like he was the only one they could scrape up or whatever. Right. And it was a very mixed race group, and so we go up deck on the upper decks, and we're watching, but we deliberately position ourselves so we can hear the band when they start playing. And so there's one guy singing, and it was like, oh, that has got to be our accountant. Oh, that is terrible. There's no heart to it,
Yeah.
And then the next song is this super soulful, it's fantastic, right? And we're like, oh man, let's go down. Let's get closer to that. That is so good. And we go down, and it's the accountant guy singing the all soulful, it's the white guys, We're like, oh my God, we're such racist.
Yeah.
And then like they switch off, and it was this little black dude singing just without any heart. And we're just like, oh, our stereotypes. Oh, that's so bad.
What's happened?
Yeah, no.
That's really funny. It's a great story.
But Laula stops, alarmed. You've gone a couple of 100 feet. There have been more bellows from the ogre. Roll for me.
39.
You heard one shout, "I can't," in response to something the other one said. Laula is alarmed at clearly what are apparitions rising from the ground.
Ooh, okay.
They are goblins. Their weapons are also ethereal, and they are soldiers. She has seen two. There may be a third one way off in her periphery, and they are moving toward the noise as well.
Oh, man. I mean, if they have it, they don't seem interested in me. Am I out of sight of them? It doesn't look like those apparitions have caught sight of me then.
No, there's several. They're 30 yards ahead of you pretty easily.
Okay.
And they're moving toward the sound. Now, your fear is there something coming from behind you?
True, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm still interested in seeing what this is. What's going on here? I'm not sure when. So we'll continue. Again, check behind me, check all around me, for another, we'll say 30 yards.
You sneak. You want Laula to keep going closer or not?
Yeah, she should keep scouting ahead as well.
Nothing you've seen behind you. You continue to move relatively quietly. You feel Laula's fear getting higher and higher, and you recognize the drums are affecting her too.
Ooh.
Suddenly, her vision becomes like gray to you. And she starts hopping instead of like sort of really darting in this really lively way in large gaps, and large leaps to cover terrain. She starts going in these very small hops toward it. And there is a definitive sense that she is no longer listening to you.
Oh, okay. I think this is where we cut it off. I'm going to call attempt to call Aula back to me and
roll.
Retreat here. 85.
Roll again.
53.
Aula pauses. You feel the tension in her between the unnatural call of those drums and the unnatural but at least living call of her new master.
Yeah.
I was going to say natural call. I'm like, he doesn't have a natural connection to this bird. It's also unnatural.
Nature. Yeah. But these are magic rings that are actually binding us. It's the quick and dirty way to get it.
Instead of the screaming horror of a nether soul. I mean, what do you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
You keep checking around you. She is frozen. One ogre you can now hear, yelling, bellowing, saying, "There's more of them! There's more of them!"
Holy smokes.
The other says, let them get close. Let them get close. See what they'll get. What do you want to do?
So Laula's just paused there.
She's.
I have to move towards her and keep beckoning, or not. I have to just grab her.
You creep forward. You're realizing there's a big part of you that doesn't want to get any closer to those drums now.
Yeah.
Roll.
Guys have gone in too deep. 29. I was just curious. What's happened?
Well, that is the real interesting tension in Rollmaster, and I'm glad that it is there, in as much as I can make it interesting enough that you're willing to risk things.
Right. I'm super interested to see what's going on, but yeah. Also, just the idea of like possibly having to like fight alongside ogres. It's like, what?
Yeah, that's a different day.
Yeah.
That's a different day. You come closer. In the distance, we're talking like 70, 80 yards, like 150, 200 feet through the trees. You can see the two ogres, not really in a clearing. It's just this sort of light wood, that has grown up here. They're sort of, their backs are to you, these broad, backs. And they seem sort of transfixed, although they can still kind of move their shoulders, and they're turning to face each other and talk. And beyond them, you can see the horrible form of the goblin drummer boy. And he is playing, a march. There are 6 spectral soldiers, various types, no doubt various ranks, armed, standing behind him.
Oh my God, 6.
Laula, you can feel that tension. Laula turns away from you and turns again to the little drummer.
No. Guys, I think Laula needs a drum roll to resist
the drum roll.
Drum roll to resist the drum.
A chill begins to creep up your back, and you turn, and there is another specter approaching you. Roll.
78.
It is, without question, Agakyle.
Oh my gosh. What?
He has seen you. You have seen him. He stomps and grabs a tree as though resisting a wind that is blowing him. And he looks directly at you. He's got a short crop beard, as you saw. He carries his rod, though now in spectral form. And he says to you, in Thax, he says to you, and Thax is the Mannish language for anybody, any new viewers. He says to you, "What are you doing here? You must flee." But you see, you can see he keeps unwillingly looking at the drummer boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he refocuses his attention.
Okay, well, I don't have any time to spare on him. I gotta go call my familiar. So I have to, how far am I away from Laula right
now? Probably 75 feet. But she's up in a tree. About 30 feet up, it feels.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it'll matter me getting closer to her, so maybe it is better if I get further away and then just hope, pray that she doesn't, I guess, leave my range, right? Like maybe that'll resist her.
Any magic you could cast on her? Any magic you could cast on yourself?
Too. There probably is something from one of my tomes that would help.
You are, racking your brain. Agakyle says to you again, "What are you doing?"
Shut up, Agakyle. Not helping. So
we'll have you soon.
Oh my gosh!
You cannot resist forever.
Probably this spell that would probably be best here is Spirit Strength, 15 plus 25 OB versus Undead. Sounds like it would help.
That's for attacking. That's for melee and missile attacks.
Okay, so not like an actual champion of the. So then there's also Holy Conviction, plus 30 MM and plus 30 versus Fear. It all sounds like it's.
That's interesting.
And that would be worth
if it is fear-based, it certainly feels like it's fear-based.
Yeah, something like drawing you. I don't think anything else really sounds.
What if you just could break the drummer boy's drumming?
I was
Like one
thinking I could just
shot.
call lightning and just like the field, and maybe interrupt whatever's going on.
I mean, why not try to hit him? You can see him.
Oh, okay. Call lightning right on him. Yeah. Let's do that because I really wanted to use that spell anyway. And yeah, I don't think we have any other choice to try to resist it. It's too risky. So.
All right. So you take out your tome.
Mm-hmm.
You're flipping through. Agakal takes a step closer to you and is again bracing himself against this draw. He's literally looking over your shoulder. When you stop at the page, he says, yes, yes, that might work.
Okay.
He grasps your shoulder. It is a very, it's a very eerie feeling. But you can tell there's not just a radiation of malevolence here. There is something genuinely human and alive about him.
Mm.
He says, if you can destroy him, you could set us all free.
Oh my gosh.
He murmurs something very quickly. His hands glow a moment, and your understanding of this scroll definitely improves.
Oh my gosh.
He stands very reluctantly and sort of haltingly begins, obviously very unwillingly, walking jerkily toward the drummer boy.
Mm. All right.
What would you like to do?
I'm ready to cast this spell. I'll take a few seconds to concentrate, really make sure I get the spot, right on him.
Roll.
51.
You feel that the call of the drum on you has plateaued for the moment. You feel like you have the time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me grab the appropriate book.
Oh boy, here we go, people. Here we go.
It's way back here. All right.
Call lightning.
Yes. Roll it up.
41.
Wow. You get 2 criticals. It strikes him directly.
Nice.
You want to roll your big critical or your small critical first?
Let's do small first.
Okay.
Small is a 48.
Okay.
And then big is a 48. Wow.
Weird.
I'm fine if we just say every roll's a 48 from now on, by the way. Let's take 50 on everything.
It strikes him in the shoulder. He's lifted off the ground. He comes down in pieces. The drum falls on the ground, shudders, and then turns to smoke. The apparitions look for a moment at the boy's body and then look directly at you. And then they fade into nothing. Agakyle turns rapidly at you and stares at you with such shock and gratitude. And he says, "The tree, have you discovered my tree? You have to tell people." And he fades.
Oh my gosh.
You can feel Lala immediately, her fear level drops. She leaps to you. I mean, she comes like a beeline, almost, almost, you're like, "You're almost hurting me. I mean, she's just frantic to be with you.
Mm-hmm.
One ogre is just shocked and frozen in place, is just like,
Yeah.
is speechless. The other one cuts across the distance in between them and the former apparition group.
Mm-hmm.
Cuts across it and is sort of running sort of an angle toward the slope, toward the interior of the bluff.
Yeah.
His friend, where are you going? And he's just shocked. Ten exhaustion points for the spell.
Well, that seems like a good place to end the session.
I think so.
It's pretty climactic.
Yeah, but that was a pretty interesting.
Just out of curiosity, what did you roll to have that specter be Agakyle? Is that just a flavor thing, or was that a huge roll?
Well, I've been debating about what to do with Agakyle for a while. He's not if he had not, and even deciding whether or not he'd been killed in the battle was the first question.
Yeah.
Like, is it more interesting to have that, or is it more interesting to have him possibly still alive, where you could have a conversation with him, you could seek him out, as you did with Adabir,
right?
And successfully so. And so I decided it would be. I said, I'm just going to, given the possibility that's happened here. And I had the Goblin War guy, and his abilities I had already planned.
Yeah.
The apparitional thing, the apparitional summoning, he doesn't do unless he is completely outclassed. And so, so I knew that he wouldn't do it against you. He would have trusted that he could take you. but with 2 ogres, So with that option, like, let's just roll to see if Agricola is still alive. And I rolled no. And I said, okay, did he die in the battle? And then yes, he died in the battle. I said, okay, to what degree is his spirit under the influence of this creature?
Yeah.
And so I rolled like a 60. So I'm like, so he kind of doesn't have a choice. He's definitely definitely under the power of this thing.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way to go.
Yeah.
And so I said, all right, there are more apparitions coming. There was one more coming. I rolled its direction from you, and then distance from you. So it's coming from behind you, but very near.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, so that's Agricola, and he just happens to be right there.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I just decided. It gives you an example of my sort of
yeah. That is really cool. It naturally happened. It folded in, but also a little bit of tweaking on your part. Yeah.
Right. And so that's something I hope that I have finally excelled at as a game master, is to know what order to ask what questions.
Right.
And then just be willing to let go of a great story idea if it doesn't feel right, and coax one a little bit if it's interesting, and so on.
Right. And that's like, reading about, how to create a good twist or whatever. It's like, that's just like the perfect thing. It's something like that could have happened, and like, but you didn't expect it, and then it did, and it just kind of made sense and was really cool when that happened. I was like, oh my gosh. But then I couldn't, like, I knew he was just transient. I wouldn't be able to ask him a whole lot, which is just also really cool. So yeah, that was pretty amazing.
Well, cool. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was interesting, and I didn't know. Like, I was like, it's gonna be very interesting if your first shot didn't kill the kid.
Right.
But
annihilated him. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that spell is a beast. I mean, that's a hit.
Mm-hmm.
It's harder to use. It's almost impossible. It's very conditional. Like, you can't really use it inside of a cave and things like that.
Right.
It's summoning natural lightning.
Right. But when you can use it,
it's
pretty damn good.
Yeah. So,
all right. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, guys, I think we're going to stop there for the night and let Brise change her pants. And we certainly plan on continuing next week with episode 18. As always, take a look at Max's notes, character sheet, personality if you'd like. Visit Max's YouTube channel, which you'll see on our farewell page, where he talks about the role of music in gaming and original soundtracks for gaming and things like that. I know Quinn might be interested in that as well. And go take a look at the talented Elliot Dunovitz for Brise's art and other things that Elliot has produced. We thank her again for her contribution, and we're just tickled to be back on the channel and hanging out with you guys, and hopefully providing a really interesting story. So, something you want to tell these people, Max?
Well, I just want to say that thanks for coming out as always, and I know I missed Karandrin role playing these last 2 weeks, so glad we was able to get back to it, and we'll be back next week.
That's right. So thank you, guys. We appreciate it as always, and we will see you next week. Thanks to you all.